Hello, this is CSEC Biology, Section B, Life Processes and Disease, Video 3 for e-Biome. First, we'll look at detection and response to stimuli. All living things have irritability as a characteristic. Irritability is the response of organisms to internal and external environmental changes. This increases the chance of survival. The stimulus is defined as a change in the environment that organisms respond to. The response is the change in the organism caused by the stimulus. Here we look at responses to stimuli and their importance. So here we can see the different stimuli, the possible responses, and the importance to the organism of the response. Okay, the first one is chemicals from an organism. The possible response is that the organism moves towards another organism, and the importance to that organism is that they find a potential mate. You have moisture in soil. Possible response, they move towards moist areas. The importance, this prevents desiccation or drying. You have light. Possible response, they move from light to darker areas. The importance here is that they escape from predators because it is harder to see in dark areas. You have chemicals from an organism. Possible response is that they move toward the organism, and the importance is that they find potential prey and thus food. You have cold temperature. Possible response is that they move away from the cold temperature, and the importance is that they are not able to survive in cold areas because the body is not adapted. Now we'll talk about receptors versus effectors. The peripheral nervous system, or the PNS, is a vast communication network that deals with the reception of stimuli and the response to that stimuli. Receptors are the neurons which receive the stimulus from the environment. Effectors are the neurons which brings about a response caused by the stimulus. Okay. Increase in mass, size, and density in organisms. Growth is a characteristic of all living things and occurs when the number of cells in an organism increases, which then causes the organism to increase in size or mass. This process, therefore, is irreversible. The growth of an organism has three phases: cell division, which increases the number of cells, or mitosis; cell enlargement, which is the increase in the size of cells after mitosis. You have cell differentiation. The cells become specialized and they develop into tissues and assume special roles. Now we'll deal with plant growth. The substances responsible for growth in plants are called hormones, and these are chemicals which are found naturally in plants at very low concentrations. From the development of the seed to the death of the plant, these hormones regulate growth and development. The five main groups of hormones are auxins, which deal with primary growth; gibberellins, which deal with growth of shoots and leaves; cytokinins, which deal with cell division; abscisic acid, which is a growth inhibitor; and ethylene, which is a fruit ripening. Animal growth. Growth in animals begins after fertilization of the female egg by the male sperm. This occurs by the fusion of the male and female nuclei of the sex cells. The new nucleus divides by mitosis immediately after this, and cell division occurs constantly as a new individual is formed from an initial ball of cells. In humans, growth and development continues at a fast rate after birth until close to adulthood. At this stage in life, it begins to slow down and stop once adulthood is reached. Now we'll deal with processes by which life is perpetuated. Reproduction is a characteristic of life, and so all living things reproduce in some way or another. Reproduction is important because it allows a species to continue. It allows colonization of new habitats and survival in changing environmental conditions. The two main types of reproduction are sexual and asexual. So we have a table here. On the left we have asexual reproduction, and on the right we have sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, there is a single parent involved. The offspring are identical to the parents. The offspring are identical to each other. The cell division here is mitosis. The offspring are less likely to survive the change in environment, and the evolution of the species is less likely. In sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. The offspring are different from the parents, and the offspring are different from each other. The cell division here is meiosis. More likely to survive change in the environment. The evolution of species can occur more readily due to variation. Diseases. Disease is the impairment of an organism's health, and there are 5 types. There is pathogenic, deficiency, hereditary, and physiological. Pathogenic is caused by parasitic organisms or pathogens like viruses, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa and worms. Deficiency is caused by a shortage of minerals. Hereditary. This is caused by genes passed from one generation to the next, for example, cystic fibrosis. Physiological. This is caused by malfunction of the body's organs, example, asthma. Okay, this is the end of the study. Thank you for listening.